and I present and, of course, have an opportunity to watch the films that have been created. So I want to begin by actually appreciating the kindness, the generosity of everyone at Bethany Society for having remembered me and remembered my work and my interaction there. I also want to take this opportunity as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, to just kind of talk about the importance of making stories inclusive, because as somebody earlier had mentioned, one of the themes of the year is fostering inclusivity for social progress, and the idea is inclusivity is something that leads to progress for everyone. Inclusivity is not for a person or another person, it's for everyone, and everyone benefits when everyone is together. And I just want to kind of point out that the films that you're going to be watching, which I had the pleasure of watching yesterday, and the conversations that you're hearing today are all encouraging us to kind of look within and think of our own stories and, of course, find a way to tell those stories. As far as telling the stories is concerned, of course, we're also fortunate to be living in an era where the mobile phone, which a lot of us possess, has inbuilt capacities and capabilities to be able to capture our audio and video information. And then we have platforms across social media, especially YouTube, which I don't know if many of you are aware, turns 20 this year. So it's been 20 years since somebody made a video and put it on social media, on YouTube, and then the rest of the world could watch it. And that kind of a democratic space that we are all now living in is something that we can all benefit from. And I want to encourage all of you to look within, to think about your stories, to think about how to tell your stories, to realize what a responsibility it is, because stories truly connect us. When we hear stories, when I saw the films that I saw yesterday, one of the films that you're going to be watching later, a documentary film, was about an artist who lives. I forget the details of her background, but one of the things that she said in her film was, "I use my time to do things." And I was thinking, as an artist, as a filmmaker, I was thinking that if all artists had that humility to, at the end of the film, you see the amazing craft work that she creates, but how she articulates it is, "I use my time to do things," And as storytellers, as a filmmaker, as artists, what we essentially do is spend our time doing something, but then can we also try to make that meaningful for a larger audience? And by meaningful, I primarily mean to bring about a moment of change, what we sort of usually call impact, which is to see something and say, "Oh, wow, this is possible. I didn't know this was possible." And stories can do that. I'm sure all of you, like me, have the refrain from the band that played earlier today, playing in your head over and over again. It's been playing in my head. And that's the power of storytelling. You may not remember the name of the band, you may not remember the name of the performers, the artists, but the art will remain with you, right? So just keep that in mind, look within, and what you will see around you, especially globally, and this is something that filmmakers like me and other independent filmmakers are struggling with, is that the world and the landscape of filmmaking is changing, right? And one of the changes that's happening is people are able to make a film on their own phone, and now they've demystified that process of filmmaking, right? It's no longer something that, so when I 10 years ago, if I mentioned to somebody that I make films in Hindi or in Malayalam, the two languages where I make films, people would be like, "Oh, wow, you're a filmmaker." Now everyone's a filmmaker. Everyone's making films. Everyone's creating content, as we call it. And that demystification, plus the democratization of the process of anyone can create anything and put it on YouTube. You may get 100 people watch it. You may get 1 million people to watch it, right? That change is something that we can all benefit from, but also let's be mindful and try to convert that into some kind of social change, right? And I think that's the note that I want all of you to sort of leave this day with. it's been about, I think, we're close to about 30 years of celebrating this International Day of People with Disabilities. So there's a long way to go. It's only been 30 years of celebrating this. There's a long, long way to go for all of us. And I want all of you, whether you're a storyteller, whether you're an aspiring storyteller, to just approach storytelling with the simplicity and humility that technology now allows you, right? And that's the note that I want to end on. And I'm again going to just appreciate the kind of event that's been put together. Film festivals like this give opportunities for young filmmakers to see your work on a big screen. You have no idea how difficult that is. You have to kind of live it to realize how much time it takes to even produce a piece of work. But then not only is your work produced, you also get to share it, and then you get to share it with an audience in a theater system, which is what cinema is meant to be experienced like, right? So I just want to once again thank everyone who's put this event together, and I want to congratulate the State Resource Center on Disability Affairs for having done such a wonderful job. And I do hope that me and my team at Words, Rhythms, Images, that we can be a part of this more actively in the future in building this ecosystem of storytellers. Thank you very much once again. Thank you.